Okay, Trig Algebra 3, today we'll be starting the Unit 1 packet. It's actually the second packet. It's going to cover only two sections here. The first section, 1.2, with functions and graphs, I'm going to split this up a little bit further. So I will do some examples here for the first part, dealing with evaluating functions. And then I will actually do a few of your assignment problems for you because there's not many examples here for evaluating functions. Okay, so functions. A function is a correspondence between a first set called a domain and a second set called the range, such that each member of the domain corresponds to exactly one member of the range. We'll talk more about the functions in the second day of videos here. All right, so function notation in math are often given by equations. The inputs, also known as domain values, are the values of x substituted into the equations, and then the outputs, or also known as range values, are the resulting values of y. So we're often plugging in x to figure out what the y is. Now, the term function notation is just the term notation is just the way we write something. That's literally the definition of it. Notation is the way we write something. So when we say function notation, that just means we're writing an equation instead of y equals something, we're writing it f of x equals something. F is not a variable. F is just like the first name. Like this function's name is Frank because it starts with F. There could be, instead of f of x, you could label things g of x, h of x, I of x. It's just, instead of giving a number to it, you're just giving a letter to it to identify it. Okay, so again, f is the name of the function, and f of x is read as, well, I just said it, f of x. All right, so next up, we are going to do some actual math now, some computation. A function is given to us. It is f of x equals 2x squared minus x plus 3. We're going to find each of the following. This is also known as evaluating a function. In letter A, it's telling us f of 0. We want to figure out what f of 0 is. So it's telling us what the x value is that we're going to substitute out, and that will be 0. 0 is going to go in for x. Sorry, my wording's a little goofy there. So what we're going to do is take 0 and plug it in for x. All over the place today with my words. Words are hard. So I'm going to plug it in for my x's. So that's 2 times 0 squared minus 0 plus 3. And I'm going to carefully use order of operations. Remember, so what we want to do here is exponent. So 0 squared is 0. So this is 2 times 0. You could just get rid of the minus 0, by the way. Save a step there. 2 times 0 is 0. And then 0 plus 3 is 3. So when the input is 0, the output is 3. The domain is 0, the range is 3. Let's try doing another one, substituting negative 7 in for the x's. Okay, so I'm going to do the exponent first. Negative 7 squared is 49, so this becomes 2 times 49. Also, those double negatives, let's change it to a plus 7. Save a step there. Save some writing there. And then we would do 2 times 49 is 98. 98 plus 7 is 105. And then add them to get 108. So when the input is negative 7, the output is 108. And I got to give you guys fair warning again. If I don't see required work on your homework, you will not get credit for it. You cannot just throw all of this stuff into a calculator and give me an answer. All right, you have to prove to me that you know how to use the order of operations. Okay, now it's going to up the difficulty. Not even sure if you hit this one in Algebra 2. Letter C. Actually, I know for a fact you didn't hit this one because I teach Algebra 2. So letter C says 5a is going to go in for x here. So let's carefully write it out. 2 times 5a squared minus 5a plus 3. Now, to evaluate this, of course, as usual, exponent, the squared, it's going to be 5 squared and a squared. So it'll be 2 times 5 squared is 25, and then a squared. Okay, we have to square both of them, 5 and a. Next, we multiply 2 times 25a, so you're only multiplying 2 times the 25, so that'll be 50a squared. Now it's showing minus and plus, but we can't add or subtract anything together. Remember the rule for adding and subtracting, they must be like terms, and these are not. We got an a squared and an a and a 3. So you have to stop there, that's your answer. All right, now we got a real tricky one. This one is brutal. I'm not even a fan of this one. So now we're going to plug in a binomial in for the x's. Okay, this will be an invisible one that'll distribute, by the way. But that's not going to be my first step. My first step, of course, again, is my exponent. Now it gets tricky here. What does that mean? A minus 4 squared. Bring your 2 down. And we're going to write a minus 4 twice. And that's going to have to FOIL. We're going to have to FOIL and combine like terms there. So a times a, or first, outer, inner, and last. So we FOILed. And if you don't know how to FOIL, I'm not sure how you made it to this class. All right, so now we're going to distribute the 2. And distribute the minus 1. And then we're going to combine like terms. 2a squared is going to just drop down. For the a's, these two will be minus 16a. Minus another a is minus 17a. And then the constants, 32 plus 4 is 36. Plus 3 is plus 39. All right, so as long as you know how to FOIL and distribute and combine like terms, you should be good here. Okay, so let's take a look. That's all I'm going to cover today in new stuff. I'll go over this in video 2. I want to hit up a few more examples here. In your assignment 1-2, this video will cover numbers 1, 2, 3, and even number 4. So let me bounce around a little bit here. I'll do a few of them for you just to see some more practice. The one I want to look at here, I want to do letter D for you. So g of negative x is, negative x is going in for x. And then we're going to do the exponent. So carry down the 3. Negative x times negative x is x squared. And we can also distribute. That'll be plus 2x. Negative times a negative. And then 3 times x squared is just 3x squared. carry over plus 2x plus 1, and we got to stop there. We can't add them. They're not like terms. So not too bad for letter D. Okay, gonna hit up, let's go with letter A here. Go with a simple one. So f of 0, so that'll be 5 times 0 squared plus 4 times 0. So the exponent would be 0. 0 squared is 0. Then 5 times 0 is 0, plus 4 times 0 is 0, and your answer is 0. Okay, we got a fraction here, not too bad. Actually, I want to hit up letter C here. Plugging in -3 into function g. So that'll be -3 minus 4 divided by -3 plus 3. So on the top, -7 divided by 0. Guess what? You're not allowed to have 0 in a denominator of a fraction. Therefore, you need to write undefined. You need to write that phrase if you have a 0 in a denominator. If you do not write undefined, I must take off a point. Okay, we have function h right here, and we got 3 problems, 0 and 2 and -x. Let me do, I want to do h of 0 actually. So plug in for the x's here and here. Gotta be careful with the radical. So 0 plus square root of 0 squared minus 1. We can get rid of this 0, so it's just square root of, and then the square root, 0 squared is 0. And then we have the square root of -1. Now, as you recall from the previous unit, we can't get the square root of a negative number. You actually have 2 options here. You can't get the square root of a negative number, so technically it's undefined, and what that means is you cannot get a real number. I would also accept an answer here. I would also accept the imaginary number I, which you guys learned about in Algebra 2. Imaginary I. All right, guys, and then that'll be the end of my lesson. I set you up, did about a quarter of your homework, so get the rest of it done, and have a great day.